Upcat, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're having a wonderful day. In today's video, I wanted to share how I passed my college entrance tests. I think this was one of the topics that I watched a lot during senior high school because the thought of sets can make you very anxious and scared, especially if you're like me who by that time didn't have any ates or kuyas to ask about their sets experiences. So hopefully this video will guide you and help you throughout your preparation for the sets because these are the tips that have helped me throughout my sets journey. So if you're interested, just keep on watching, make sure to take down notes, and let's get started. Just to give you a little context, I took 4 college entrance tests, namely Upcat, Acet, Dcat, and Ustet, and thankfully I passed all of them. There are a lot of things that we need to cover in this video, so I have divided this video into 4 parts, namely the review, the application, the exam day itself, and what to do after taking the sets. Before we get started on anything, I would like to make a disclaimer that these are all my own personal experiences and this may not apply to everybody, but again, I can assure you that I am going to give you a very detailed and comprehensive list of tips that you need to take note of throughout your sets preparation. So let's get started. In my opinion, reviewing for sets isn't just sitting down and looking over your notes weeks before the exam day. There are things that you need to consider beforehand in order for you to study efficiently kasi pwedeng mag-aral ka dyan for several hours or pwedeng mag-all-nighter ka pa dyan and then you'll just find yourself more confused than when you started. So this leads me to my first tip, which is to know yourself. Know how you learn and know what type of learner you are. There are 4 types of learner. There's visual, auditory, tactile, which is for reading and writing, and kinesthetic. I think this has been ignored and overlooked by a lot of people kasi know yourself lang naman yan, let's go straight to review. But I tell you, this is very, very important. Why? Understanding how you learn allows you to identify what study techniques work best for you kasi each individual is different. How you learn may be different from how your friends learn. So kung paano mag-review yung friend mo, that may not work for you. So diba, masasayang lang yung time and effort mo if you keep on pursuing the reviewing style of your friend when in the first place, hindi naman talaga siya gagana sa'yo. As for me, I know that I'm a visual learner. So when I'm trying to understand the process, kunwari photosynthesis, tinatry ko talagang i-drawing siya and then ninanumberan ko and then ini-explain ko siya. So when I'm trying to understand a process, I try my best to draw it and illustrate it. If you know how you learn best, everything else will follow. You'll be able to retain and absorb information better. And also, aside from that, know your strengths and weaknesses. Why? When reviewing for sets, you need to know what topics you are good at and what topics you are bad at. Para alam mo kung alin yung mga topics na kailangan pang pag-allot ng mas maraming time and alin na lang yung imamaster mo. If you're not familiar or if you're not so sure of how you learn, you can check out the link I put in the description box. It's a quiz that will help you understand your strengths and how you learn best. When I took that quiz, I found out that I remember topics best visually, which proves that I'm a visual learner, and I learn best by myself, which is also true because I can never remember things when I study in study groups. Second tip is to review. Siguro the number 1 struggle when it comes to reviewing for sets is the question of whether you should go to a review center or not. It's easy to feel pressured to go to a review center, especially when a good majority of your batch enrolled in a review center. But do you need to go to a review center to pass the sets? Is it necessary? Is it required? No. Absolutely not. To help you decide on whether you should enroll in a review center or not, I'm going to list down the advantages of each. If you want to enroll in a review center, there are a lot of review centers that you can choose from. There's MSA, Braintrain, Ahead, AG, Uplink, and each of these review centers has their own teaching style. So again, before looking through these review centers, going back to my first tip, make sure to know how you learn because their teaching style may not be the best for you. Let's be honest, hindi mura ang review center, so you need to make sure that enrolling in a review center will really help you and you'll be able to maximize the teachings. Kasi baka mamaya nag-enroll ka nga sa pinakamahal na review center pero magkaiba pala yung way ng pagtuturo nila sa way ng pag-aaral mo. So diba, masasayang lang. Now, what are the advantages of going to a review center? Number 1, you have a schedule to follow. Since you need to attend their classes, naka-layout na yung days na mag-aaral ka for sets and part na ng schedule mo yung pag-aaral for sets. Number 2, materials and coverage are already provided. Almost all of the review centers have their own versions of reviewers, handouts, and exams, so you don't need to look for resources anymore. Although you still can, pero hindi na siya required. These materials are specifically made for college entrance tests, so you can expect that the items in these materials are topics, guidelines, and questions that you can possibly see in the sets themselves. Third are simulation exams. Enrolling in a review center will give you a feel of what it's like to take the sets kasi when you're answering the tests that they provide, it comes with a time limit, much like what sets are. So mahasa ka talaga and mapapractice mo yung makapag-manage ng time mo when answering the sets. Last is additional tips. In review centers, they give tips on how you can easily answer certain items that are common in sets. For example, they will teach you how to easily find errors in sentences, context of passages, and even solve mathematical problems in the shortest time possible. If you think that you can do all 4 of these on your own and you have the discipline to study on your own, you can definitely choose not to go to a review center. So now, what are the advantages of studying on your own? Number 1, flexible schedule. Since pwedeng magkasabay yung review sessions mo with your actual school exams, you have full control over how you manage your time and how you choose to allot your schedule. Number 2, there's less pressure. Studying on your own means that you're reviewing for sets at your own time, pace, and place. If feeling mo hindi mo pa na ma-master yung statistics, you can always go through the topic for 2 or 3 more days kasi you don't have a strict schedule to follow. Number 3, it's not expensive. Siguro ang gagastusin mo lang for reviewing on your own is yung pagbili mo ng learning materials if you want to. But then again, there are a lot of online resources that you can use to study, and a lot of them are so helpful that you can get by even without buying expensive reviewers. In my case, I decided to enroll in a review center because I knew that I didn't have the discipline to allot time to review for my sets while managing the actual schoolworks that I have. And it was really hard for me to choose a review center kasi maraming sabi-sabi, maraming hearsay. Maraming nagsasabi na maganda dito kasi puro UP profs yung nagtuturo, maraming nagsasabi na maganda dito kasi in-depth yung reviewers. And during that time, I thought there was one review center that was the best among the rest. But truth be told, that's not how it works. Because reviewing for sets doesn't stop with enrolling and going to a review center. You also have to review on your own outside the walls of your review centers. Third tip is to get in the zone and avoid distractions. Find your happy place. Kapag mag-review ka, know the ideal environment where you can study in and fix your mindset. Prepare the books or papers that you need to study. If you learn best while listening to music, go ahead, but as much as possible, avoid going through your phone because that will really distract you and you will lose your focus. Remember that having a prepared environment equates to a prepared mind. And as I've mentioned, fix your mindset. Isipin mo na one time, big time lang to. After taking your sets, you can have all the time in the world for leisure. You can hang out with your friends all you want. You can use your phone all you want. Ngayon lang dadating yung chance mo na mag-take ka ng sets, so lubusin mo na. Do it once, do it right. Tip number 4 is to study in short chunks. A lot of people think that studying a subject or a topic in one sitting for several hours is better than studying in short sessions. But that's not true. Believe me, I used to do that. As in, magkukulong ako to study an exam for the entire day and then I'll just find myself drained by the end of the day. Tapos kinabukasan, wala. Pagod pa rin yung utak ko to absorb information and I don't have motivation to study. And also, don't pull an all-nighter just because everyone else does. Oh my gosh, I cannot stress this enough. It's not about the quantity, but it's about the quality of your review. So I suggest instead of pulling an all-nighter or studying in long sessions, take regular study breaks. You know, set a timer to remind yourself when to take a break and when to get back to studying. This will give your brain time to process the information and to relax every once in a while. Tip number 5 is to create your pointers to review. Having a list of topics that you need to study gives you a sense of structure. Here's what's frightening for a lot of people. The coverage of sets is very broad. Lahat ng topics that you can think of from when you started high school until now that you're in senior high school, lahat yun pwedeng isama sa sets. And the thing is, you don't need to memorize every single formula, every single definition, or every single rule there is. Because most likely, general topics lang naman ang kukunin ng sets. So instead of memorizing, understand the concepts. Kasi sometimes, the questions in sets are derived from concepts that you've learned. So if you just memorized it, it's likely that you won't be able to answer the question because it's not worded the way you memorized it. But if you understand the concept, you know the concept in its entirety, kaya mo siyang i-explain sa iba and alam mo yung pasikot-sikot ng problem. And also, kapag may pointers to review ka na, i-highlight mo na dyan alin yung mga topics na nahihirapan ka pa. Para alam mo which topics you need to spend more time on. Para kapag malapit na yung exam day, at ease ka na because you know that you've mastered the topics that you already know and you did your best in trying to practice the topics that you're not so good at. Tip number 6 is to make a schedule and manage your time. This is very, very important kasi it's easy to feel lost kapag nag-review ka for sets tapos kasabay pa nun yung pag-review mo for your actual school exams. And most likely mag-overlap talaga yun. Kahit ngayon nagkakaroon pa rin ako ng war flashbacks kasi sobrang stressful talaga. There will come a time na hindi mo na alam kung ano yung uunahin mo and you'll feel as if nagkukulang ka na sa isa sa dalawa, either sa sets or sa school exams mo. Baka nga both pa nga. So I suggest plan out your schedule. It doesn't have to be a strict or tight one na mas-stress ka din kapag hindi mo siya na-follow exactly. Plan it out in a way na magkakaroon ka lang ng guide. And also, I suggest that you start reviewing way before your school exam starts. Summer before the sets, better. The earlier, the better. Kasi nga, pag nandiyan na yung school exams mo, hindi ka na mag-aalala ng baka magpatong-patong lahat. So if you can start studying as soon as you get your pointers to review, make a schedule and do it. Tip number 7 is to make flashcards. Flashcards are really helpful to familiarize certain concepts, definitions, rules, and formulas. Again, you don't have to memorize, you just have to understand them. When I was reviewing for sets, I underestimated the power of flashcards. So what I would do is kapag nagpa-practice ako sa bond paper, tas naka-encounter ako ng concept or formula, binabox ko lang siya tapos hina-highlight. And then come the time na kailangan ko na siya, wala na, pahirap pa na maghanap. Kasi hindi ko na alam kung natapon ko na ba siya or nasingit ko siya sa isang libro. So I suggest make flashcards because it's an easier way for you to repeat and recall information. Tip number 8 is to test yourself, especially sa math. Ako, aminado ko, I'm not the best at math. And when you're reading math problems repeatedly from your reviewers, it's easy to say na, alam ko na yan, alam ko yung sagot na yan. Pero iba siya kapag sinusolve mo siya ng paulit-ulit. When you practice the process and test yourself repeatedly, mapapansin mo na mas mabilis ka na nagsasagot, mas alam mo na yung pasikot-sikot ng problem and how it may possibly apply to other problems that are similar. Tip number 9 is to reward yourself after each study session. Why is this important? Because you deserve it. No matter how short or long your study sessions are, no matter how productive you think you may be, always reward yourself kasi it gives you something to look forward to. Instead na inaantok ka na habang nag-review or nawawalan ka na ng motivation to study kasi sobrang nakakaantok na or sobrang boring na, when you reward yourself, you have something to look forward to and mas na-encourage mo yung brain mo to absorb information. Tip number 10 is to take care of yourself. Sleep well, eat nutritious food, and exercise if you can. Kapag mag-review ka, make sure that you're not on an empty stomach. Kasi kesa iniisip ng utak mo yung binabasa mo or yung inaaral mo, ang iniisip niya fried chicken o kaya samgyup, diba? And again, uulitin ko na naman, don't pull an all-nighter kasi if you do, you'll be less focused and mas mahihirapan ka mag-absorb na information. You absorb information best when you're on a full stomach and when you're well rested. Madaling i-underestimate ang difficulty ng application forms, but believe me, it is one of the most exhausting tasks during your entire sets preparation. So what are the tips that I can give you? Number 1, start early. Again, mag-overlap talaga yung application deadlines mo with your actual school work, so make sure that you start filling out your application forms ahead of time. Huwag mo nang intayin na makisabay ka pa sa friends mo or sa classmates mo kasi matatagalan ka lang. It's best to start early para wala ka nang iniisip come the time na malapit na yung pasahan. There are schools that are very tedious when it comes to application and marami silang hinihingi. So as soon as you receive your list of requirements, kunin nyo na agad yun sa school office nyo and gawin mo na lahat na kailangan mong gawin. Application forms should be the last thing that you worry about. Number 2 is to make a checklist of requirements. I take pride in my organization skills during the application period kasi gumawa talaga ako ng checklist with the deadlines and all that. Tapos, kapag naka-receive na ako ng document na kailangan ko as part of my requirements, nilalagay ko na agad siya sa envelope. And take note, may kanya-kanyang envelope yung schools. Kahit sa laptop ko, may kanya-kanyang folder yung schools. So, since nag-apply ako sa 4 schools, I have 4 envelopes and 4 folders in my laptop. Para hindi na ako mahirapan maghanap, hindi na ako mag-worry na baka nawala ako si ganito or hindi ko pa nare-receive yung ganyan. Now, what should you do the night before? Prepare the things that you need to bring. Your pencils, erasers, watch to keep track of time, test permit, very, very important, and snacks because sa umaga baka mataranta ka na and you might miss out something that's very, very important pala. So, ito na. Come, let's say exam day na. What are the things that you should remember? Number 1, pag exam day na, sobrang traffic yan. Do not even underestimate it. There is a chance na baka malate ka or baka hindi ka makaabot ng sets mo. So, to avoid that, make sure that you wake up early kasi pwede ka naman matulog on the way sa car or sa parking lot ng testing center mo if you arrive early. I-prevent na natin yan kasi sayang naman yung weeks ng pag-aaral mo kung malilate ka lang naman pala. Number 2, eat breakfast. Some people can go through their day without breakfast, but for sets, make sure that you eat breakfast. Again, when you're on a full stomach, you're more alert, you're more focused, and it's easy for you to recall information. Dapat kapag nag-e-exam ka na, ang iniisip mo na lang is yung test mo and hindi yung kumukulo mong chan. Third is to go to the toilet. Oh my gosh, I think hindi naman mangyayari sa inyo to, pero make sure na rin that you go to the toilet before entering your rooms. Mahirap na kasi, hindi nyo alam anong pwedeng gawin ng kaba sa chan nyo. Tests usually take 4 hours and some of them won't even allow you to go outside. So, ilabas nyo na yung mga dapat nyong ilabas before before ka palang pumasok na room. Fourth, listen to your proctor. The proctors during sets will be very strict. Don't even try to do anything that is against their instructions. Huwag ka na mauna magbukas ng booklet. Huwag na. Proctors have the full authority over your tests, so they have the power to take it away from you. They will give you ample time to fill out your information, so huwag ka na dapat magmadali. Number 5 is to put your phone on silent mode. This is one tip that I think a lot of people forget, but remember to do it as a respect to your fellow examinees na rin. Proctors are most likely going to ask you to put your bags in front or at the back, so pag naging yan, sis, sobrang nakakahiya. We don't want that. Nakaka-istorbo siya not only to your fellow examinees, but to your proctors din. Tip number 6, don't bring noisy snacks. I feel like medyo petty tong tip na to, but a lot of people just really don't care, and sometimes they will even use this as a strategy to disturb other examinees. But don't, okay? Be respectful and be kind. I remember nung nag-upcat ako, yung katabi ko, may dala siyang isang bag ng cheese curls, as in yung malaki. And then yung wrapper nun, sobrang ingay na nun. So pagbukas mo palang, ang ingay na. Tapos pagkuha mo pa nun, pagkagat mo, sobrang ingay lalo. So, nakaka-istorbo siya to your examinees. And keep in mind, hindi naman sobrang laki yung room, so maririnig talaga lahat yun. Number 7 is to read instructions carefully. Sometimes, you get so used to your practice tests that you forget na baka iba pala instructions sa mismong sets. So, always be careful. If they want you to find errors, tandaan mo na may error dyan and look for the error. Always have the instructions in mind because it will save you a lot of time and you'll be able to answer the exam efficiently. And the last tip that I have for you during your exam day is to double check your answers. If you have time, make sure to double check your answers kasi baka may ma-miss out kang number na skinip mo. Sayang naman yung point. So make sure i-double check mo, i-review mo yung mga answers mo. So what should you do after taking the sets? Number 1 is to pray. Relax, isipin mo na tapos na lahat, lift everything to God, and you just have to wait for the results. Number 2 is to keep your passwords and your account information. Ito, madali tong i-delete agad-agad kasi pag na-trauma ka na sa exam mo, madali na lang siyang kalimutan. Pero don't, okay? It's really hard kapag results day na and then naghahanap ka ng mga account information mo tapos naglalag pa yung website. So make sure na nakasave na lahat yun para you don't have anything else to worry. So that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video and I hope you learned something. If you have any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer them in the comments below. Thank you so much and I will see you in my next videos. Bye!